Good morning, guys. Welcome again to my YouTube channel. And on this station, we give you update on what is happening in Nigeria, Africa, and across the world. Of course, we all know what happened yesterday at the Supreme Court ruling that federal government should not have a deadline for the old money notes. But however, the Supreme Court passed the ruling that 10th of this month should not be the deadline, and the federal government, the CBN, should extend it. Okay, so but our federal government insists that February 10th is their deadline, and they asked the appellate court to dismiss state suits. Alright, guys, so welcome again to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time of watching our YouTube channel, click on the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, drop your comment in the comment section as I give you updates. However, uncertainty trialing the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN's) Naira redesign policy continued yesterday when the Supreme Court overruled an earlier injunction granted by a high court in the Federal Capital Territory. Uncertainty trialing the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) Naira redesign policy continued yesterday when the Supreme Court overruled an earlier injunction granted by a high court in the Federal Capital Territory (FCT), restraining the federal government and the CBN from undermining the February 10th deadline for the ongoing currency swap. While the Supreme Court ruling appeared to have doused the tension scarcity of cash and induced the polity, the federal government last night approached the Supreme Court asking it to dismiss a suit challenging the February 10th deadline set by the CBN to end the legal tender status of the old currency note of 200, 500, and 1,000 naira. It argued that the Supreme Court lacks jurisdiction to hear the suit, which was filed by 3 states. The federal government argued that the Supreme Court lacks jurisdiction to hear the suit, which was filed by the 3 states, Kaduna, Kogi, and Zamfara, in all the northern part of the country and controlled by the ruling APC, All Progressive Congress (APC). But the question is, why is the APC so interested about this new redesign? What is happening? Well, the respondent maintained that the case is not a dispute between the federation and the state government, but merely an issue about CBN's policy. It said the suit is therefore not qualified to be taken directly to the Supreme Court for the jurisdiction, arguing that the suit ought to have commenced at the Federal High Court. Attorney General of the Federation (AGF) and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami (SAN) sued as the sole defendant, as the representative of the federal government filed his opposition to the suit as a preliminary objection against it at the Supreme Court on Wednesday night. The 3 state governments, in their application filed to challenge the Naira redesign policy, prayed for an order restraining CBN from ending the use of the old notes on February 10th. They cited the suffering scarcity of the new notes had brought upon many Nigerians. After listening to the applicant lawyer yesterday, a 7-member panel of the court led by John Okoro issued an order of interim injunction halting the plan by CBN to end the use of the old banknote as scheduled. The court then adjourned the hearing of the main case until February 15. Shortly after, President Muhammadu Buhari met with the CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele and AGF Malami at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Outcome of the meeting was yet to be known as at press time, apart from the AGF asking the appellate court to dismiss the governor's suit. This is as the International Monetary Fund (IMF) yesterday called for the extension of the February 10 deadline for the cash swap. The IMF, in a statement by its resident representative in Nigeria, Ari Asin, issued on his behalf by Office Manager for Resident Representation for Nigeria, Laraba Bonnet, in Abuja, urged its plea on the hardship Nigeria were going through. He said, in light of hardship caused by disruption to trade and payment due to the shortage of new banknotes available to the public, in spite of measures introduced by CBN to mitigate the challenges in the banknote swap process, IMF encouraged CBN to consider extending the deadline should problems persist in the next few days. Leading up to the February 10 deadline, IMF in the first international organization to openly call for extension of the deadline for the old deposits of Naira notes. Governor Arafai has urged Nigerians to continue spending the old denomination of the redesigned notes. Arafai said Nigerians should disregard the CBN directive because the APC presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Tinubu would reverse the decision if elected on February 25th. Speaking in Kaduna, the governor said, continue running your businesses and daily activities with whatever notes, old or new, you have. Don't rush yourself into taking old Naira note to the bank and wasting your time in the unnecessary queue at the bank. Nobody can stop you from using the notes. When we come to power, if Tinubu becomes the president, we will give people more time to get rid of the old note. But more commercial banks have shut their doors to customers, halting cash operation as safety concerns takes priority in management decision. Findings suggests that most bank managers have been strongly advised to avoid putting the lives of their employees at risk until there is reasonable assurance of safety. The security concern and the sheer size of currency taken out of circulation may have reversed any relief expected from yesterday's Supreme Court interim injunction restraining CBN from enforcing the deadline for purchasing out the old notes scheduled for tomorrow. CBN Governor Emefiele in Lagos last week said 2.1 trillion naira had been mopped up since the beginning of the exercise, plus 500 billion naira said to be in the banking system. The Appins Bank could have warehoused over 2.6 trillion naira from 3.23 trillion naira that was in circulation as at last year, shrinking the total value of the volume of old banknotes to the economy to about 400 billion naira. The value of new notes in circulation is yet unknown. The Deputy Governor of the Bank Financial System Stability, Aisha Ahmed, during an appearance at the House of Representatives, said the 500 million naira banknotes had been ordered without giving details of how the different bills make up the figures. If the volume is eventually distributed across the three bills, 200, 500 and 1,000 naira, it translates to 283.3 billion naira or 8.8% of the volume of cash in transit as of October 2022. Alright guys, so that is a little we have for you. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, click on the notification bell, drop your comments and also subscribe.